Should you aggressively pay down your student loans or invest the money instead? It is one of the most debated questions in personal finance, and most of the advice you will find gives you the same answer. It depends, which is technically true, but it is also not useful unless someone tells you exactly what it depends on and how to run the calculation for your specific situation. Today we do exactly that. The interest rate math, the investment return comparison, the tax angle that changes the numbers, the forgiveness programs that flip the entire calculation, and the decision framework that gives you a clear answer based on your actual loan terms, not a general rule of thumb. This is not a video that says pay your loans, and it is not a video that says invest instead. It is a video that runs the numbers and shows you exactly which choice wins in your situation. What is up? This is Real Money Math, the channel that runs the numbers nobody wants to run. Hit subscribe if you are new. Last 3 videos: the salary gap, the middle class math problem, and the 401k math nobody explains to you. Today, student loans versus investing. The average American borrower carries $37,000 in student loan debt at an average interest rate of approximately 6%. The S&P 500 has returned approximately 7% real on average over long periods. 1% spread. Sounds close. The answer is more nuanced than that spread suggests, and that nuance is worth real money. Let us get into it. The fundamental question is this: if you have an extra dollar, does it generate more value paying down debt or invest it in the market? The answer starts with the interest rate on the debt. Paying off debt with an interest rate of X% is a guaranteed X% return on that dollar. No volatility, no sequence of returns risk, guaranteed. Investing that same dollar in a broad market index fund is an expected return of approximately 7% real over long periods, but expected is not guaranteed. The market can lose 30% in a year. It can be flat for a decade. So the comparison is guaranteed X% versus expected 7% with uncertainty. When X is below 5%, the expected market return likely wins over long periods. Most financial analysts would say invest. When X is above 7%, paying the debt wins with certainty. No investment guarantees 7%. A guaranteed 7% return, which is what paying 7% debt gives you, is excellent. When X is between 5 and 7%, this is the zone where the math is genuinely close and other factors determine the right answer. Tax treatment, time horizon, risk tolerance, job stability. The average federal student loan rate today sits in the 5 to 7% range, which is exactly the ambiguous zone. This is why the debate exists, and this is why the answer requires your specific numbers, not a general rule. Let me bring back Sarah. Sarah is 31 years old. Nashville, $75,000 a year. We have followed her math through the housing calculation and the general financial picture. Sarah also has student loans, $42,000 in federal student loans at a blended rate of 6.5%. Standard 10-year repayment plan, monthly payment, $477. Total interest over 10 years, $15,228. Sarah has $300 per month above her minimum payment that she is deciding what to do with. Option A, extra payment on the loan. Sarah puts the extra $300 per month toward her student loan principal on $42,000 at 6.5%, adding $300 per month to the standard payment cuts the payoff from 10 years to approximately 5 years and 9 months. Total interest paid, approximately $7,800. Interest saved versus minimum payments, approximately $7,400. Guaranteed return on that $300 per month, 6.5%. Option B, invest the $300. Sarah puts $300 per month into a Roth IRA in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund at 7% real return. She continues making her standard $477 payment. After 10 years, the $300 per month invested, approximately $52,000. She also paid $15,200 in interest on her standard repayment, compared to option A, where she paid $7,800. The extra interest cost of option B versus option A, approximately $7,400, but her investment portfolio has grown to $52,000. If she had used that $300 per month to pay the loan faster instead, she would have zero invested portfolio at the end of year 5.9. Option B leaves Sarah with a $52,000 investment portfolio at year 10. Her loans fully paid, $7,400 more in interest paid. Option A leaves Sarah with loans paid off in 5 years and 9 months. months. No investment portfolio built during that period. $7,400 less in interest paid. By year 10, option B wins financially because $52,000 in invested portfolio exceeds the $7,400 in interest saved. But this comparison assumes Sarah actually invests that $300. If she does not, if the money gets spent instead, option A wins automatically. Jennifer is in a different situation. Jennifer is 32 years old. Charlotte, teacher, $44,000 a year. You met her in the middle class video with David. Jennifer has private student loans, not federal, private. $31,000 at 11% APR. Monthly payment on 10-year repayment, $510. Total interest over 10 years, approximately $24,000. At 11%, the math is clear. An 11% guaranteed return from paying off the debt is exceptional by any standard. The S&P 500 returns approximately 7% real on average. Paying off 11% debt beats the expected market return by 4 percentage points. For Jennifer, the answer is unambiguous: pay the loans. Every extra dollar above her minimum payment earns a guaranteed 11% return. This beats the market with certainty over any reasonable time horizon. There is one nuance. Jennifer should still contribute at least enough to her 401k to capture the full employer match before paying extra on loans. The employer match is an immediate 50% return on contributions. Nothing beats that, including 11% loan payoff. But beyond the match, every extra dollar goes to the loans. The math leaves no room for debate at 11%. Here is where the student loan versus investing calculation can flip entirely. Federal student loan forgiveness programs. If you work in public service, government, nonprofit, qualifying public interest jobs, you may be eligible for public service loan forgiveness. PSLF forgives your remaining federal loan balance after 120 qualifying monthly payments made under an income-driven repayment plan. 10 years of payments. Then the balance is gone. Here's what this does to the math. If Jennifer had federal loans instead of private loans, and if she qualifies for PSLF as a teacher at a public school, her calculation reverses completely. Under an income-driven repayment plan, her monthly payment would be based on her income, not her loan balance. On $44,000, her payment might be approximately $150 to $200 per month. She makes those reduced payments for 10 years. Then the remaining balance is forgiven, tax-free under current law. In this scenario, Jennifer pays approximately $18,000 to $24,000 total over 10 years on a $31,000 loan, and the remaining balance is forgiven. Compare that to the standard 10-year plan. She pays approximately $55,000 total. The difference in total cost, potentially $30,000 or more, depending on loan balance and income-driven payment amount. If Jennifer is PSLF eligible, the optimal strategy is to make the minimum income-driven payments and invest every extra dollar. The math says do not pay the loans faster. Get the forgiveness. The critical question before any student loan strategy: are you eligible for PSLF or any other forgiveness program? This answer changes everything. Here is the framework. 3 questions. Answer them in order. Question 1. Are you eligible for federal loan forgiveness? PSLF, teacher loan forgiveness, income-driven forgiveness after 20 or 25 years? If yes, make minimum payments. Invest the rest. The math overwhelmingly favors this. If no, move to question 2. Question 2. What is your interest rate? Below 5%. Invest first after capturing employer 401k match. The expected market return likely beats the guaranteed loan payoff over long periods. 5 to 7%. This is the genuine gray zone. Hybrid approach. Contribute to 401k up to match. Max Roth YRA. Then split remaining dollars between extra loan payments and investing. Either approach works. Consistency matters more than optimization here. Above 7%. Pay the loans aggressively after the 401k match. The guaranteed return from payoff beats expected market returns. At 11% like Jennifer's private loans, pay loans before any additional investing. Question 3. Will you actually invest the money if you do not pay the loan? This is the behavioral question. The math says invest when rates are low, but the math assumes the money actually gets invested. If $300 a month in freed up cash becomes lifestyle spending instead of investment contributions, the math calculation is meaningless. Pay the loan. The guaranteed debt reduction beats theoretical investments that never happen. Student loans versus investing does not have a single right answer. It has a right answer for your specific loan rate, your forgiveness eligibility, your tax situation, and your behavioral track record with money. The framework: check forgiveness eligibility first, then run the rate comparison, then be honest about whether you will actually invest the difference. The calculator in the description runs this comparison with your specific balance, rate, and time horizon. It shows you the break-even point and the total cost of both paths. Share this with someone carrying student loans who has been told to pay them off as fast as possible without anyone running the full calculation. Next video: the real cost of buying a car in America, not the payment, the total cost, and the math that explains why the average American car decision sets back retirement by more than most people realize. Hit subscribe. New video every week. I will see you in the next one.